Hi chaps, John here at Microaces. Welcome to the Microaces workshop once again, and I wanted to give you a quick update on the progress of the Hawker Hurricane. I'm afraid it's not brilliant news. I've had to halt the production because I'm not happy with the flight performance. I went to video the flight of two aircraft that I produced from the production parts of the kit, and it did not perform, well, either of them didn't perform as I wanted them to, and they certainly didn't perform anywhere near as well as the original prototype that I flew back in March of this year. So I wanted to just give you a heads up that we are going to have to delay the release of the Hurricane, which I'm truly sorry about, but I don't want to provide you with a kit that I know is not going to perform particularly well in the air. And I thought you deserved, certainly the ones of you, well, all of you, but the ones certainly that have already put their money where their mouth is and purchased or pre-ordered one of our Hurricane kits. I thought you needed to know, certainly, and I wanted to give you an explanation of what's going on. So as I said, I produced a pre-production prototype, as I always do with designing the kits. I've got a sample here, so as you can see, it doesn't look like a Hurricane. Well, it sort of got an outline shape of a Hurricane, but I use various bits and pieces, and that goes together to really provide me with a frame on which to design the aircraft itself, create the skins that go on, the patchwork that goes on, and this is what the aircraft would have looked like, obviously, although with wings, etc., and the electronics in, to originally fly the prototype, which unfortunately I don't have at the moment. It turned out to be a bit of a donor aircraft that one of the original skinned prototypes that I built it turned into, although it was never to be a flying aircraft, because of the sort of various experimentation and hacking around that I did to it. So that original aircraft flew brilliantly, and so I was lulled into a false sense of security that the production model, which had a few modifications but nothing too massive, would turn into. And when I went to shoot the videos of it flying, it disappointed me somewhat, which I was a little perturbed by, but I managed to get quite a lot of information from those flights. So from those flights, I have made a list of items that I needed to pay attention to, some of which I have done already, others which I need to go through. The first one was weight reduction. The aircraft that finally got produced from the kit parts was around about 165 grams all up flying weight. I say all up flying weight, depending on which battery you were using, and I decided to use a heavier battery because the center of gravity required that I needed a heavier battery, which took it up to about 180 grams in the end. So that was a little disappointing, but obviously we put various 3D parts on there, and so that's really what increased the weight. Apart from, obviously, I used the heaviest grade of Tyvek that we use, which we previously used on the Albatross and on the twin aircraft, but I thought, well, we need to look at the weight anyway, so we'll look. I've been through the whole aircraft, reduced as much as I can without compromising any of the integrity of the aircraft itself and its sort of strength and durability. So I've been through that. I do believe that the calculated center of gravity that I have is not working now for some reason. So it needs a lot more weight up front, and the center of gravity is not 1/3 down the wing as would normally be, but it's probably closer to 1/4. So I'm making some adjustments for that too. I'm looking at servo strength as well. I was getting some unusual things happening in the air, and that may be down to the fact that we're using relatively lightweight servos, and I may need to boost those slightly. I do have some in stock that I've had from previous projects, so I'll be trying those very soon, but that does mean some alterations to the internals of the aircraft, which it's no big deal. Also looking at tail size as well. I didn't make massive expansion of the tail, and I kept it as scale as possible. So I'm just thinking that this may also be causing an issue. So I'm going to look at that and experiment with that too. Also looking at the flying surfaces profiles. We've got scale profiles on all of both the tail and the wings, and I'm just wondering if that is creating a little too much drag and not creating enough lift. So once again, I'll be looking at that. I don't think this is going to be an issue though, because as I said, the previous prototype had exactly the same flight surfaces. So, but if I can get any more lift out of these surfaces, then that would be a winner. Also looking at things like angle of attack. I don't think this has changed, and I can't see that it has changed since the original prototype, but we'll look at that as well. And also thrust angles. There are probably other bits and pieces that I'm going to look at as well. The motor generates a superb amount of power. I'm not worried about the power. It's actually generating with we actually got it slightly redesigned, and we're now getting around about 188 of burst power. From the motor, 188 grams, I should say, grams of static thrust from the motor itself. But these are what I'm going to be going through with the Hurricane over the next. It's probably going to be another sort of 4 to 6 weeks until we release. So if you've ordered this, I know some of you will have ordered this for Christmas, as it were, then unfortunately we're probably not going to be able to deliver that particular for that particular time frame, which I do apologize about. Now, if you have ordered the Hurricane in conjunction with our Secret Santa, then of course we are going to split that order. We will deliver to you the Secret Santa before Christmas, and obviously pick up the tab for shipping the Hurricane once it is ready. I hope you don't mind me being totally open and honest about this. I thought it was best to provide you with exactly what is going on, and I hope you guys can understand that these difficulties can arise, especially as this is a brand new method of, not entirely a brand new method, but somewhat a brand new method of assembly for us, using the type of materials that we're using. So I'm learning an enormous amount as we go too, and I hope you can stay with us. Obviously, if you feel that it's too much of a risk and you want a refund, that's absolutely fine. I just hope you can put your faith in us bringing this Hurricane back to what it should be, and for me to have an opportunity to make sure that it flies as well as it looks. I don't think there's anything else that I can explain at the moment, but just to apologise for the delay, And as I said, I hope you're able to understand why I've delayed it. We've produced quite a lot of the kit already, some of which may have to be ditched, unfortunately, but it's not the materials, neither here nor there. It's not massively expensive. It's obviously the amount of time that we've already put into the project, but we'll just have to write that off as a learning curve for us, and move forward. Certainly when it comes to producing the Messerschmitt 109, we'll have a lot more experience. I'll certainly have a lot more experience under my belt, and we should be able to bring that a lot quicker, and we won't have this sort of issue again, because I will be flying every prototype that I produce as quickly as I can, just to make sure that it's as good as the first. So anyway, thanks for listening, and don't forget, we've still got some of the Secret Santas left, if you wanted to order those, and as I said in the previous message about our Secret Santas, they are kits that provide you with a step towards the Hawker Hurricane, and the rest of the hopefully the rest of the kits that we will be bringing on in that vein. So thanks very much for listening, and I shall provide you with an update as soon as I have some news.